Well, our thing is how we work and how we operate. It must make business sense on our side.
Let me get to you, because I understand that you have retired. You're 50-0. You walked away from the game. You made a lot of money, but you did make news sometime last year when people were talking about you returning. Now you're 43 years old. Okay. I want to know where your head is at as it pertains to you.
Well, whatever reason it is that they want to see you, that reason is why you money. It's not that you just deserve the money because it's hard to do.
Right. I have never encountered an athlete who, number one, flaunts his wealth the way Floyd flaunts his wealth, and who, number two, is so blindly full of himself to the fault of those who did pave the way. He did acknowledge that much, so I appreciate.
Floyd Mayweather Jr., once celebrated for his undefeated record and lavish lifestyle, is now facing growing controversy as allegations of financial trouble and questionable ventures swirl around him, putting pressure on his larger-than-life image and raising doubts about whether the boxing icon is now battling his toughest fight outside the ring.
You know, I'm a kid that came from poverty. I can remember being a kid living in Jersey with my mother. 7 of us living in a 1-bedroom. You know, no lights, no heat. Never cried, never complained. I just worked hard to get to where I got to in life.
When Floyd Mayweather Jr. transitioned from Pretty Boy Floyd to Money Mayweather, his public image transformed dramatically, shifting from a focus on elite defensive skills, technical brilliance, and ring IQ to a persona built around extreme wealth, luxury, and financial dominance, no longer marketed solely as a master tactician inside the ropes. He rebranded himself as a larger-than-life mogul who proudly flaunted private jets, designer wardrobes, stacks of cash, and multi-million-dollar paydays, turning money into the central theme of his identity and making extravagance just as much a part of his brand as his undefeated record, ultimately redefining how modern fighters promote themselves by blending boxing excellence with spectacle and high-end lifestyle marketing.
Look at guys that never got hit. Floyd went his entire career, got hit hard like 3 or 4 times, ever.
Yeah. When he fought Diego Chico Corrales, which was one of my favorite all-time fights, you know, because it was like there was nothing for Diego to hit, and then all of a sudden he just bounced in his face, bop, left hook from like 5 feet away. That's a Mayweather that I think nobody could possibly maybe beat.
That was the Pretty Boy Floyd Mayweather.
Pretty Boy
that
Floyd.
was before he became.
Floyd Mayweather Jr. deliberately reinvented himself into a global brand centered on wealth, power, and luxury rather than being defined solely by his boxing ability. And over time, the public conversation shifted from analyzing his elite defensive mastery and tactical brilliance inside the ring to focusing on his extravagant lifestyle, record-breaking fight purses, and sharp business positioning that allowed him to command hundreds of millions per event, ultimately transforming him into one of the richest and most commercially successful athletes the sport of boxing has ever produced.
Just complete genius.
Yes.
First of all, from just changing his style, right? He broke his hands a lot. So when he was younger, they called him Pretty Boy Floyd.
Yeah.
And then he changed his name to Money. And when he changed his name to Money, he turns heel.
Yeah.
He became like this guy and everybody wanted to see him get beat.
Yeah.
And he's the most unhittable guy in the history of the sport.
Yes, sir.
Well, it's interesting when fighters figure out ways to do that too, like what Floyd is doing. What Floyd is doing is so interesting. He retires from fighting and he says, I'll just start boxing people who have no chance.
Floyd Mayweather Jr. transformed his earnings by leaving traditional promoters and founding Mayweather Promotions, taking full control of his fights and revenue, a bold move that skyrocketed his income and helped him become one of the highest paid athletes in the world.
Floyd Mayweather was the highest paid athlete in the world, and you won't believe why. Early in his career, Floyd partnered with a fight promoter where he was making $3 million a fight, but he wasn't satisfied. He thought he could make way more with pay-per-view and wanted out of his contract. So he bet on himself and paid his manager $750,000 to get out. And you won't believe what happened next, so drop a follow. This would prove to be a huge win for Floyd, and after going independent, he made nearly $1 billion and became the highest paid athlete in
As Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s fortune expanded into record-breaking territory, the surge in wealth reportedly created tension within his inner circle, including with his father, Floyd Mayweather Sr., who has suggested in interviews that their relationship was smoother before the era of massive paydays and non-stop luxury spending. According to his father, once the money began flowing at historic levels, Priorities appeared to shift toward extravagant purchases, high-end cars, lavish properties, and constant displays of wealth, which in turn created distance and frustration inside the family, highlighting how sudden extreme success can sometimes strain even the closest bonds when financial power begins to influence personal dynamics and long-standing relationships.
Argument in our life, me and him. Then we had an argument on what was the name of it? HBO. We was on HBO. Then another time we argued over by the car. I'm saying, man, what is all this about now? I'm just saying, you know, and we never had no argument. All of a sudden, it is what it is. Sometimes, you know, hey, when people get, it ain't about me training or anything like that. People get money, man. Things change. I don't care whether it's your father, mother, whoever. Father, mother, brother, sister, name it. You know, if sometimes when people get money,
Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s fortune and fame continued to rise. Many observers felt his trademark confidence gradually edged into arrogance, a shift that reportedly strained longtime friendships and altered how some within the boxing world viewed him. Among the most vocal critics was Mike Tyson, who openly suggested that extreme wealth and global influence should not disconnect a person from humility or reality, warning that unchecked ego can become dangerous, particularly for someone operating at the highest level of fame and financial power, where every decision carries amplified consequences both personally and professionally.
Floyd, though.
Huh?
How do you feel about
Awesome
Floyd?
fighter, great fighter. You know, he's a little too into himself. You know, he should be. I was the same way too, but you have to come to reality some way. You have to bring your head down to God. We're nothing to be fucking arrogant. You expect us to be ignorant and arrogant. Look where we came from.
That's why I asked the question earlier about you mentoring fighters, because I feel like Floyd looked at you growing up like every other fighter. And the persona and the lifestyle was like, growing up in the hood, we looked at it like, that's Mike Tyson. We see the cars, the jewelry, the flair. Like you was a movie star. You was a hero.
Floyd Mayweather Jr. once shared a highly publicized friendship with 50 Cent that blended sports and entertainment. But as Mayweather's wealth and brand grew, tensions reportedly surfaced. 50 Cent later suggested that Floyd's constant focus on money altered their dynamic, and remarks attributed to Mayweather, implying he never needed assistance, was seen as especially damaging, leading many observers to view the fallout as a clash fueled by pride, ego, and an increasing prioritization of financial power over long-standing loyalty and personal bonds.
Yo, when you gonna give me the money?
Because you had already invested.
Right, like when you gonna give me your half of the money back. But I ain't trying to press him because he just got out of jail, right? So it's like, let him cool his heels before you.
Was that in the millions?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you sitting there big, and I'm like, yo, so when, but see, the fighters are an asset in themselves. They are that talent, regardless. Right. You know, so I'm looking at him going, so there ain't no pressure there, but I'm saying, when is he going to say he wants to, you know, to give me the other half of it? Why I got to ask you for it?
Right.
And then when he...
Are we talking over 2 million?
It's about that.
Oh, okay.
At that point, it was, you know, invested in.
All right.
So look, he goes, when he finally does bring up the actual, the situation, he acted like he didn't know anything. Like, I didn't tell y'all to do that. I didn't tell you to do that.
Oh, man.
He said something to me one time, very simple. He said, what a prize fighter fight for? And I'm like, and he said, the prize. So it's okay for you to watch the fight. Don't nobody watch Floyd fight to see how amazing he is. They watch it for the opportunity to see him lose.
Right.
Because they don't like him. They don't like him because everything that he says is about money. There's nothing else. There's no values. There's no, like the people's champ, like Ali was standing for the same things.
Right.
The audience was standing for. You know, he doesn't have any of that. It's just money. You know what I'm saying? And that, he knows you don't.
Floyd Mayweather Jr. also experienced a fallout with his former protege Gervonta Davis, known as Tank, after their once promising partnership deteriorated. Davis later indicated that he felt controlled and financially undervalued despite generating major revenue from his fights, suggesting that the structure of their working relationship left him overly dependent, a situation that ultimately led him to separate from Mayweather and pursue his career independently.
Back asking you for money. Nah, why would I do that? I give her a couple dollars. I take some, whatever, whenever you need some money. You feel me? But when I was legit to be able to get out the hood, that's what I did.
Like, I had to learn that coming up, that like, a motherfucker will put you in a position to always need him. And like, to the world, it might look like that's a great person. But like, to somebody to understand, you understand like what Kendrick Lamar say? Nah, that's a master manipulator. Like, cause if I gotta put you in a position that they always need me, you always gotta, I'm gonna just give you crumbs. And we hear it a lot. Like, if I'm a, nigga, what's $1,000? You know what I'm trying to say? But to you who don't have it, is a lot, and I know you gonna go to war for that $1,000. So me understanding that $48 of plot power, I'ma always feed you a little bit so you can be excited and do just enough to come back around.
But I ain't really just put me in a position to be able to, you know, make my own thing, and I don't want to say no name, but they wind up catching it. The people that's over top of me, I mean, like I was signed up. To him, and Floyd signed to him. So the person that he said, okay, cool, I see what's going on. That's when you start taking
all these guys in a history of boxing.
Yeah.
I've accomplished more than every fighter in the history of boxing.
Okay, Ali.
Is Ali the same fighter that got beat by a fighter with 7 fights? Leon Spinks beat Muhammad Ali when he only had 7 fights.
Yes.
And if we really tell the truth, if we really tell the truth,
well, that's what you're here for. You here to tell the truth.
What's the heavyweight guy that Ali fought 3 times? Ken Norton, actually.
Ken Norton.
Ken Norton really beat Ali all 3 times. Go back and look at the fights. I mean, we just telling the truth. And I love Ali, of course.
Gervonta Davis has suggested that as Floyd Mayweather Jr. accumulated more wealth and influence, jealousy sometimes surfaced, with Davis claiming Floyd struggled to celebrate others who surpassed him financially or received greater public praise, creating tension even outside the ring. He also pointed to Mayweather's bold comparisons to icons like Muhammad Ali as evidence of the intense confidence and possible insecurity that accompanied his unprecedented success and fortune.
In all of my career, I have never encountered an athlete who, number one, flaunts his wealth the way Floyd flaunts his wealth, and who, number two, is so blindly full of himself to the fault of those who did pave the way. He did acknowledge that much, so I appreciate that much. But the way he just blithely scoffed at Ali's accomplishments, it wasn't just disrespectful, Stephen A. Smith. It was flat out blasphemous. Now, to your credit, you did go back at him. You can't, okay. And to Floyd's credit, you know what? Early in Ali's career, he did get dropped. Not by Burt Cooper, by Henry Cooper in London. He fought him twice in London. And he did get dropped, and he got right.
Fight because they hate him. Because he talks so much shit, and he's like, look at my $1 million watch, look at my fucking jet, look at my house, look at this. He's like constantly showing you all these things that he has. Like, he'll lay out watches in a hotel bed, like this is $1 million worth of watches, this watch goes for $2 million. And
my
like,
most expensive watch that I currently own is $18 million. One watch.
And so you hate him. People hate him.
He creates envy.
Yes. Yeah, it creates envy, and you want him.
Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s confidence often spilled into open displays of wealth and repeated declarations that he was the greatest of all time, regardless of other fighters' accomplishments. His extravagant lifestyle, provocative interviews, and unapologetic persona intensified public scrutiny, turning him into one of the most polarizing figures in boxing history, admired for his skill and business acumen, yet frequently criticized for arrogance and excess.